When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube, and welcome back to the Grease Comics YouTube channel. In today's video, we are doing a Victarion Winds of Winter predictions. Now, Victarion, I think, is one of the cooler Greyjoys. I'm not a fan of their house in general, but he is one of the cooler ones. But before we get into the video, if you guys like to like, subscribe, and comment, please do. It helps the channel grow and reach our people that might like this content as well. And also a side note before the video starts, I hope I don't look too disgusting because I just got done working out. But yeah, you can roast me in the comments if you'd like. But Victarion is on his way to Meereen. He was sent by Euron to kind of retrieve Daenerys as his queen and kind of bring the dragons as well. This is not going to go how Victarion thinks it's going to go, I don't think. And I think it's a win-win for Euron, right? Because Euron is thinking, okay, let's say Victarion does stay loyal to me, and somehow this does work out. Well, now I have a queen, the Unsullied, we can take over Westeros. If it doesn't work out, and Victarion, betrays him or whatever, Victarion's not a smart guy, okay? He is an intriguing character, but he's not smart. Victarion will do something stupid, like blowing the dragon horn, okay? Dragon binder. And guess what? Victarion's not the master of dragon binder. Euron is. So, either way this plays out, Victarion doesn't have a good future, in my opinion. I think he's very much a pawn for Euron. Even though I think Victarion is an extremely cool character, I think this is more or less how this happens, right? So he rolls up with the Iron Fleet and all that, and he goes, "Hey, Daenerys, if you marry me and get rid of Hisdar, if he's even alive still at this point, if he's still in prison, whatever, doesn't matter. I think this goes the same either way." He goes, "Hey, you marry me, you make an alliance with me, you take my massive dong, and we will take over the Westeros, and you will have the Iron Fleet. We can take all of your soldiers or whatever, and we'll go to Westeros." Daenerys is going to be like, no. Nope. She's already had much better, like Quentyn, in my opinion, was a better match for her than Victarion was. And she said no. I think Hisdar is going to be an interesting predicament where I don't think he is part of the Sons of the Harpy. I think it's too obvious. I think there's something else going on there, and we'll talk about that probably in another video. But I think Hisdar, his main role is going to be, I think Daenerys may get like divorced from him or something along those lines, and Hisdar will be the one that is left to rule for Daenerys. So I think Daenerys will be free to wed, but I don't think she's going to want to wed Victarion. And I think what's going to end up happening is very similar to Quentyn, where Quentyn tries to get a dragon from Daenerys. I think we're going to see a parallel between their two stories, right? So I think Victarion's going to use Dragonbinder to be like, well, she doesn't want me, I'll take her dragon or her dragons. I think she's going to use it, and I actually think it could work. Now, what I think will actually happen is Victarion will blow it, or he'll get somebody else to blow it. It's not going to work for him. The dragon's going to go to Euron. It's going to be under Euron's control. And then what I could also see happening in this situation is because Victarion proves that he's unfaithful and all this other stuff, Victarion is ended up killed by Daenerys. So, with all this being said, now that Victarion is dead, I think Daenerys will attempt to make an alliance with them, or in some regard, may keep Victarion hostage. Now, I think this would be even better if what we see with how, Robb Stark was with Lord Karstark when he does his treason, where he just kills Lord Karstark instead of keeping him prisoner. I think Daenerys, if she's smart and it makes logical sense, could imprison Victarion. And instead, she would use him to kind of control the Iron Fleet, where she's like, well, you guys stay loyal and all this, Victarion will not die, and eventually he may be freed at the end of all this, or something along those lines. That, to me, seems like a very likely option, because I think the only way the Iron Fleet's main purpose and Victarion's main purpose of coming to Meereen is to give Daenerys a fleet to come over to Westeros, or to at least sail around Essos. That, to me, is kind of Victarion's relevance to the plot at this point. I wish he was gonna have a larger role. Maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe Victarion kind of just stays loyal to her anyway, and then like she's kind of like, well, I'll get vengeance for it's okay. Maybe what ends up happening instead, I'm kind of thinking about this a little bit more as I'm doing the video, that what we saw with Asha that happened with Daenerys on the show, or Yara, I guess, in the show, could be something that happens very similar with Victarion and Dany. Maybe Victarion kind of explains the situation, that he's like, Euron sent me, but, you know, he did all this terrible stuff, and Daenerys kind of goes, okay, well, I will ally with you. I will help you kind of kill your uncle, and I will let you kind of take over the Iron Islands once I've taken the throne. That is the good outcome for Victarion. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Just because Dragonbinder's there, I think that he's going to end up using it, or someone's going to end up using it when they are in Meereen. The other thing I want to say is the Dusky Woman that is with Victarion. I believe she is definitely a spy of Euron. It just seems likely. You know, Victarion constantly tells us that all the gifts that, or Victarion tells us that all the gifts that Euron gives are poisoned. The Dusky Woman is a spy for him. Dragonbinder is a gift that only works for Euron, but it's something on the face value that would be valuable to Victarion. So you see where I'm kind of going with all that. But I think Victarion is going to end up dying in the next book. I think it makes sense logically because George needs to get rid of POV characters, or he just, well, okay, let me put it this way. He could get rid of a POV character and Victarion either way, but I think logically he needs to cut down on a lot of the characters. So I think Victarion is going to end up dying, and I also believe that Asha will be the one that end up ruling the Iron Islands, kind of how she did in the show, but just a different circumstances. So let me know what you guys think about my Winds of Winter predictions for Victarion. Do you guys think he's going to betray Daenerys, or maybe not even betray because that's not the right word, but he's going to try to steal one of the dragons from Daenerys? Do you think that is going to be an outcome? Do you think that maybe there's an alliance here with Victarion and Daenerys to kind of go against Euron? What do you guys think is going to happen? And that's kind of the video. So thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.